and welcome back to my channel. I'm Rebecca Zung, and today we are going to be talking about surprising advice for how to have a successful relationship from a high conflict divorce attorney. I'm going to be giving you the top 8 rules. If you are in a relationship and you want to know how to have a successful one, or maybe you're just getting out of a relationship and you're thinking about jumping back into one, and you want to know what are the top 8 rules from my vantage point. I've been a high conflict divorce attorney for over 20 years now. And even though I don't practice anymore, I've certainly been around the block, and I'm still in the world of high conflict negotiation, and I help people around the world globally now. And so I want to help you know what to do to have that successful relationship. I want to give you the top 8 rules. Plus, I've been married for more than 20 years, and I can tell you that it is not an always easy thing to do. Even though my husband and I still do love each other very much, it can be challenging to have a successful relationship. So I want to give you the 8 rules that I've seen so that you can have that successful relationship and trust yourself to have the successful relationship. Again, if you are maybe getting out of a relationship with a toxic person and you're thinking, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm not going to trust myself for the next time around, right? Here is like a set of rules for you so that you can have your eyes wide open for the next time. And if you're new here, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because we are all about helping you take back your power and shift that dynamic so that you can have authentic power and have a voice when it comes to making sure that you are the most powerful person in any room in which you walk into. So let's dive in to the tips for having a successful relationship from a high conflict divorce attorney, the top 8 rules. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is no dirty fighting. No dirty fighting. What does that mean? No dirty fighting means no cussing, no name calling, no using things like always or never. Even if somebody's late 85% of the time, which is a lot, when you call somebody names, or when you start yelling, or when you start using superlatives like always or never, it just puts the other person on the defensive. And now you are having an argument about that. Now the argument isn't about whatever it is that you were arguing about anymore. Now it's, you just called me that name, or it's, I never did that. I've never done the dishes. I've never taken the kids to the thing. And now you're having an argument about that thing, and you're not arguing about the substantive thing that you wanted to have the argument about. Or if you're yelling, then that other person says, stop yelling at me, lower your voice. And now you're having an argument about that thing. You actually lose credibility because you are now having to defend yourself against the thing. Or if you bring up something from the past, now you bring something up from 10 years ago or 5 years ago, it also makes you lose credibility. The other thing about dirty fighting is if you don't have specificity in your fighting. Now you're speaking in generalities. The more specific you can be, the better it is. And actually, the more credibility you're going to have with your conversation. So no dirty fighting means You're sticking to the issues. You're not getting personal. You're sticking to the issues at hand. No dirty fighting means you don't get personal. There's like a set of ground rules, an overall level of respect where you stick to the issues. You don't defend yourself either. I always say never jade, right? Which is never justify, argue, defend, or explain, because you don't want that level of emotion to go out of control. If that starts to happen, then you just have to be the one to say, listen, I think we're going to have this conversation when the temperature can be lowered again. You just don't have those conversations when emotions are high. No dirty fighting also means you have conversations when both of you can be calm and you can stick to issues and not getting personal. So that's number one. Yes, it is easier said than done, but it will serve your relationship a lot. So number two is fairness is a farce. What do I mean by that? I mean that it's never going to be completely always 50-50 down the line as far as exactly who's doing what. You're not going to go, okay, you're going to do the dishes exactly 50% of the time, and the other person's going to do the dishes exactly 50% of the time. But what you can do is realize that there are going to be times that maybe one person needs the other person to carry more of the weight at times, and then you support the other person during that period of time. Let me figure out, this person is working really hard right now because they've got a lot going on at work. What can I do to support them right now? I can make sure that dinner gets prepared. I can make sure that maybe I rub their back, whatever it is that is normally their thing that they're doing at home. Let me take that off of their shoulders. Look for ways that you can support them if they need support. Carry your weight 50-50. It's never going to be 100% always 50-50 down the line. It also means you need to look for ways to carry your weight. It should never be that one person is working all the time and then also doing everything at home, and the other person is also working all the time, but then does nothing at home and doesn't help with the kids. It should be that there is some sort of equality in the equanimity is not the right word, but equality in the division of labor at home. That's how you kind of look at it. Like, how can you carry your weight to help the other person? How can you do that? That's what I say. But fairness is a farce. It's never going to be completely fair. And if you look at it as, what am I getting out of this? It's always going to feel like resentful. You should be looking at it, both spouses should be looking at it as, how can I help the other person? And if both spouses look at it that way, then it helps quite a bit. The next one is be in sync on all of the major areas. This is a big one that I definitely see in divorces for sure. You need to be in sync on all the major areas like religion, how to raise kids, finances, that sort of thing. One of the things I will say is how you treat each other for sure. It goes a long way with this as well. I mean, and I should have said this maybe even back on dirty fighting. Abuse, addiction, and adultery, the 3 A's, are the 3 major reasons that I see people getting divorced. And so treating each other well, and this even goes into the fairness thing too. So abuse, addiction, adultery, major reasons people get divorced. So this is sort of a theme throughout the whole thing as well. So respecting each other, respecting each other's positions in the relationship, that's a whole theme throughout this whole thing. But being in sync on all the big things, finances, religion, how to raise kids, big things, that's really, really important. The next one is staying in dating mode. And what I mean by that is continue to care. continue to care about the relationship. However it is that you would be during dating mode, that's how you should be during the marriage too. How would you treat the other person? You would apologize if you're running late. You would make sure that you want to look good for the other person. You would work on planning things for the other person. You would want to make sure that you spend quality time with that person. You would respect the other person. How would you be when you are dating? That's what you want. In some ways, it's all those same sorts of things, right? You want to go, "Ah, I want to be excited when I see this person. I want to spend time with this person. I want to talk to this person." All those intimate things to be taking place, right? In some ways, stay in that excited dating mode with each other. So that's number 4. The next one is number 5. This is kind of like it goes without saying, but I would just say continue to have a physical relationship, meaning you know, have sex with each other, but it should be a mutually happy, gratifying relationship for both. And I will say that if you are in a relationship with a person who is narcissistic, that is not the case. Narcissists tend to withhold. They tend to withhold all sorts of things, but sex is one of those things that they will withhold. Even a man will from a woman. If you are in a relationship with a narcissistic type of a person, then even the sexual aspect of things can be an unhealthy part of the relationship. And if you are seeing signs of that, then that is something that you may want to think about getting some help. You may want to think about getting some support around that. We do have a Facebook group that you can look to for support, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. If you need some help and support from a negotiation point of view, you can get my free Crush My Negotiation Prep worksheet, winmynegotiation.com. Make sure you do get the help and support that you need, because you do want to not be doing this alone. Sex can be a beautiful thing between two people who are in a loving, committed relationship. That's number 5. Number 6 is, hey, for all you people out there who love to post everything on your social media, this should not be one of them. You should not be posting all of your details about your private life on social media. And I can tell you, as somebody who started practicing law right in 2000, I was actually still in law school in the late 90s. This was not a thing. And so I've gotten to see the whole arc of this, and it has really become a huge part of the fabric of our society. Instances of the diagnoses of narcissism, percentages have raised more than 30% just since the 1970s alone to the 2000s. It's skyrocketing. There's a narcissism epidemic right now. Part of the reason they say that this has happened is because of the social media, because everybody wants this attention. Do not post all of the details about your private life on social media. It's toxic to you and your relationship, and it can be used against you down the road if you end up, in a divorce or whatever. Just don't do it. It doesn't help you guys. Keep your private life private. If you agree with me, put agree in the comments below. You should not be posting information about your private life on social media. Anything you put your hand to is a potential trial exhibit. Whether you hit post, whether you hit send, just imagine the judge looking over your shoulder, that it could show up again in a court of law. So make sure that you don't put anything out there like that. So that's number 6. Number 7 is be each other's best friends. It's great to have other wonderful close friends in your life, but your best friend, the person you tell everything to, the person you tell your most intimate secrets to, the person you tell all the truths to, the person that you have the most integrity with in your relationships should be your significant other, whoever that is. You know, when you're getting the award for lifetime achievement, or you're at your lowest point in life, or whatever it is, the highs and lows of your life, that is the person that you should want to share this moment with. Be each other's best friends. And you cannot do that if there's not a foundation of integrity in that relationship. And that's why I go back to that whole abuse, addiction, and adultery thing, because there's not a foundation of integrity in that relationship. When there is any of those things, and abuse can be emotional, physical, mental, then it attacks the foundation of integrity in the relationship. If you're lying to the other person, then there is no integrity, and you're not that other person's best friend. Be each other's best friends. Laugh together, do things together, spend time together. So we're working our way to the last one, which I think is the most important one. Don't think you can change the other person. You can't. So often people ask me, can narcissists change? How hard do you think it is to change yourself? It's hard enough to change yourself. It's hard enough to change your own neuronal patterns. We have neuronal patterns that are so fixed in our brains. 90% of the thoughts that we have today are the same thoughts that we had yesterday, because they're unconscious thoughts. And changing those thoughts are so difficult. They're hardwired in our brains. Our brains are not wired for success. Our brains are wired for survival. And in order to change those neuronal patterns, we literally have to hardwire those changes. We have to want it so badly. It's so difficult to do. Now you're going to say, I want to change that person. And you're talking about changing a person who fundamentally does not want to be changed, fundamentally is not self-aware by the type of person that they are. The personality type is a personality type that says, I am not going to go and be examined. I don't want people to tell me that there's something wrong with me, because that is going to actually expose me. You're upsetting the wrong apple cart over there. If you're dealing with a narcissist, you're really not going to be able to change that other person. But sitting around waiting for another person to change is not where you want to go. So you should never enter a relationship thinking, I'm going to get this person to change. I mean, think about how you feel when somebody says, I'm going to make you change. I don't like the way you are. I want you to be different. It makes you feel defensive. It makes you feel less than. It makes you feel unworthy. And we all walk around with worthiness issues to begin with. This is not the way that you should be in a relationship. All of us have traumas and triggers that we have to deal with. And when you are in a relationship, you are in a relationship with the other person's traumas and triggers. So both of you should be fully committed to dealing with your traumas and triggers. And if you're not with somebody who is open to healing instead of dealing, open to working on coming to a place of common ground, open to wanting to grow and grow together, and being in sync on growing together, being in sync with you, then you're probably not with the right person. And you can feel it in your soul. You can feel it in your gut. That whisper tells you when you make decisions from the right place, you don't need validation from other people. If you're feeling like, oh, should I stay? Should I go? I don't know. You know the answer to the question for you. But if you want to have a successful relationship with the person that you're with, these are the rules, and that have worked for me. Both my husband and I are committed to also dealing with our traumas, with our triggers, because we know that within a relationship, there's kind of like four people in the relationship. There's the authentic higher self, and then there's the trauma self. And at any given moment, it's like, who's gonna be responding? Who's gonna be dominating? But you've got to be committed to not allowing that trauma self to responding, to dominating. Narcissistic people aren't necessarily aware because that limbic brain of theirs, that trauma self, is often the one that's dominating. I would love to know which piece of advice here has surprised you the most. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a like, give it a share. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. If you are dealing with someone who happens to be narcissistic, who happens to be high conflict, who happens to be toxic, the next video that I want you to watch is self-care for dealing with a narcissistic person. I will see you in that next video. I'm Rebecca Zung. I'm so happy that you joined me today. I'm so happy that you were here today. And remember that today is a great day for negotiating your best life. Remember, they only win if you give in. And I will see you in that next video. That's the sound of customers rushing to your store. Do you have a point of sale system that you can trust, or is it a POS? Do you need a Shopify store for your retail? Shopify helps you be that command center for your retail store. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify has everything you need to sell as if you're in person. With Shopify, you get that powerhouse selling partner that effortlessly unites your in-person and online sales into one source. Track every sale across your business in one place and know exactly what's in stock. I use it myself. Connect with customers in line and online, just like I do. Shopify helps you drive your store traffic with plug and play tools built from marketing to TikTok to Instagram and beyond. Get hardware that fits your business, and you take your payments by smartphone and transform your tablet into a point of sale system. Or use Shopify's POS Go Mobile for a battle-tested solution. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there for you. They have a support system that's there to help you, there to help your customers every step of the way. So do retail right with Shopify. Sign up for $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/bestlife, all lowercase, and go to shopify.com/bestlife to take your retail business to the next level today. Shopify.com/bestlife.